What's up everybody and welcome to the channel. Today we're going to take a look at the 2025 Honda Civic Sport. This one's finished in urban gray. MSRP is $27,800. Big shout out to Flo Honda of Statesville for providing this car for today's video. Check out their website linked down below. Underneath the hood of the 2025 Honda Civic Sport, you're going to find the naturally aspirated 2-liter inline 4-cylinder engine pumping out 150 horsepower with 133 pound-feet of torque. This is front-wheel drive and has a manual shift auto with mode select. With a curb weight around 2,900 pounds, you can also expect 31 miles per gallon in the city with 39 out on the highway, running on a 12.4 gallon fuel tank. The overall length is 184.8 inches with a wheelbase at 107.7. Width is 70.9 and height is 55.7 inches. Moving on to the styling with the 2025 Honda Civic Sport. It's a pretty cool looking compact car, definitely nice and aggressive. We got a good looking set of dark housings for these headlights, LED lights in them as well, and they fade very nicely to the upper grille. You're going to see that Honda badge as well as some openings to provide cooling, and then down below we have a decent amount of openings to provide more cooling to all the radiators. Definitely an aggressive front end, looks really similar to the Type R. You're going to see a cutout in the far side and then a small front splitter throughout the front bumper. Can't complain for an economy car. It's actually really sporty, fun looking. You got some sharp body lines going towards the hood from the front bumper, definitely giving it a super aggressive appearance. At the side profile, you're going to see a set of 18-inch wheels with a multi-spoke design, finished in gloss black. You also have some sharp body lines throughout this front fender, and I like how it kind of has a wide body appearance. One sharp body line cutting through the entire side profile, body colored door handles and gloss black mirror caps, and then another sharp body line for the lower portion of these doors. You're going to see all the black trim surrounding the windows, nice cutout in the far window, and side profile is pretty good looking. This is the sedan version, so it definitely has a good profile overall, very proportional. Sharp body lines are going to cut into these rear taillights, and you can see how mostly they are LED with the red color. Got the Sport badge, Honda and Civic, and then I like the gray part in the taillights as well. Sporty looking rear end with some reflectors, some sharp body lines in the lower bumper with just a little bit of plastic. I like that small diffuser in the center with a small exhaust tip, and you got a nice contour in the upper portion of the trunk. Taking a look at the key fob, we get lock, unlock, remote start, and the trunk release, Honda badge on the back. If I go ahead and lock the car, you can just grab the door handle. It's going to automatically unlock, and we can take a look at the interior. You got a nice fabric set of seats with some vinyl trim as well as some two-tone color accents. On the door panel, you're just going to see some black fabric for the armrest with a little bit of padding and contrast stitching, more black fabric for the insert, and then just some plastic trim throughout. Got a release handle, all the window and mirror controls, storage down below that, and all manual controls for the seats. The smooth leather type vinyl is pretty nice though, gives it a sportier vibe. Large bolsters in here as well, and I like the cool stripe throughout the center. Makes its way up the entire backrest, so not a bad look. For the steering wheel, you got a nice 3-spoke design with black leather and then more black trim. And then now inside the 2025 Honda Civic, keep my foot on the brake, we can go ahead and fire it up. Get the Honda badge on the center of the steering wheel, and some controls on the left for Bluetooth and audio. We also have a home icon that you can adjust the screen. Got all your cruise control, lane keeping over on the far right side, and this even has a set of steering wheel mounted paddle shifters. Far right side, you're going to see the windshield wiper control, and then headlights over on the left with the turn signal. Taking a look at the gauge cluster, this is a nice LCD screen. You can see, hitting the home icon, you can adjust a few different things. You can see speed and time, make that adjustment, go into all sorts of different settings. You do have to hit home every single time to then scroll through all of this and then hit the OK icon. So overall, pretty cool design. You got the tach, speedometer, all the different vitals as well. To the left of the steering wheel, we have one of your air vents and then controls down below for the interior lighting. I like the silver mesh you're going to see, which is a really cool touch. Very smooth dashboard, just kind of finished in a soft touch, and then you have more of that silver mesh trim for the entire air vent section. Looks really cool, just like we saw on the Type R. And then for the infotainment screen, really simple. We just have radio up right now. We do have some media that you can plug in for the device. You can go to connect. So very simple screen overall. A few items here. This is touchscreen as well. And then you can pop it into reverse. Got a nice little backup camera with a few guidelines along with different views you can adjust. So certainly a very simple car, but nonetheless, it'll get the job done. You have all your climate controls down below. You can see your fan speed right in the center with a nice dial, temperature as well, air conditioning, different zones, heated side mirrors. And then down below that, we have extra storage, extra plugs. and then some cup holders in the center. Has a cool texture to it as well. Your drive select. Drive modes are also right here. You can go into an eco, normal, and sport mode. And then we have our auto start stop brake hold as well. Got some fabric and padding on the center. A little bit of storage down below. And then for the glove box on the right side, pretty decent amount of space. So not a bad interior for an economy car. It's sporty enough for being a very inexpensive vehicle, but not bad in here, pretty roomy. The cloth looks pretty cool as well. Simple headliner, just your dome lights, and then a very basic manual mirror. Moving on to the rear seat space, if I grab the door handle and open it up, very similar to what you're gonna find up front. We got the fabric padded armrest and then just some plastic and vinyl all throughout it. Rear seats are the same with this vinyl material and then just a smooth fabric. You got the vinyl in the center seat as well, which is a cool small touch. The centerpiece, you can pull this down. We got a nice armrest as well as two cup holders, and then no real amenities, no storage or cup holders or really anything up in front. And then sitting back here at 5'11", this is actually pretty comfortable. This is a compact car, and yet I am sitting here with about an inch or so of headroom. Driver's seat at my height, good legroom and knee room. The seat's actually at a really good recline angle. So not bad if you're looking for an affordable compact car. You can genuinely fit some people in the back of the Civic. Not a bad way to go. Taking a look at the trunk storage space, there's gonna be a rubber button underneath there. You can manually press it, it'll pop a little bit. You can just give it some assistance. Got a pretty good amount of storage space in the back of a Honda Civic. Nice and wide in here as well with a pretty low load floor. You do have a full spare tire in here, and then by just manually popping these, we can unlock the rear seats. With them folded down, you can see how much more storage space you're gonna get. Pretty large opening into the passenger compartment. They're gonna fold down nearly flat, so definitely not a bad way to gain extra space for people or cargo. All right, so setting off now in the Honda Civic. It's probably been almost 10 years since I've driven one. One of our first ever YouTube videos was actually a Civic. That one got like 1 million views back when I was in college. So crazy to see full circle filming another Honda Civic. It's been a while. In this, you know, it's definitely not a fast car. Giving it some throttle, I mean, certainly no speed beam in here. However, there are other Honda Civic trims that you can get that have turbos and more powerful engines. So of course the Civic in general, this is an economy car. This is basic transportation basically. Now we're just in the normal drive mode, getting my bearings with it. It is comfortable actually. At my height and everything, I'm sitting here with a lot of room. The seats have a lot of good padding to them. So it's a nice place to be. And I've even slid the seat a little bit farther back and pulled the steering wheel back. You have all sorts of different movements with this as well. And at 5'11", I am sitting really well and my legs are nice and stretched out. There's other basic economy cars that are similar size to this where my knees are just cramped and I don't like it at all. So this is really pleasant. I could do a road trip in this, no big deal. So while it's not the fastest thing out there, you're gonna get pretty decent MPG. Visibility's all really good. Mirror, definitely on the basic side, a little hard to get into the right spot. It feels a little flimsy up here, but it is really easy to see around. So good normal car. You know, if you're looking for basic transportation, the Civic is kind of the definition of that. This will get the job done from point A to point B, and you still have enough creature comforts, the roominess, the comfortability aspects to it, to where it's a nice place to be. I like the leather on the steering wheel, the shifter feels nice, and while you just have a lot of fabric in here, the armrests are still pretty comfortable and pretty padded. Getting up to some speed again. Yeah, you definitely want to be careful if you're going to be pulling out into high-speed traffic. That will be the one drawback with a slow car. So obviously, personally, I'm not a fan of that, but you know, the general person, this will be a fine car just getting you from point A to point B. It still gets up to speed, just you might have to ring it out every now and then. The steering feels pretty good, nicely weighted to where it's not heavy, but it's heavy enough to give you some feedback and feel like you're driving, you know, a nice quality car. Very simple on the infotainment, so you just have your basic Bluetooth basically. But nonetheless, it's a simple interior. It does look good. I love the physical climate controls, good storage solutions and everything. And the road quality is pretty good. The suspension's absorbing bumps well. I'm hearing a little bit of tire noise and road noise, but this is a kind of a bumpy road in general. No wind noise or anything like that. So generally speaking, it's a pretty quiet car, pretty comfortable to be in. And you know, if you're looking to just rack miles up, have something very economical, very affordable, and super dependable, you know, this is probably one of the better choices as far as a compact sedan. I think this is better than quite a lot of the other cars. I think the Corolla is probably the best other alternative, but I think everything else is probably a step below. So driving dynamics, not bad, just kind of what you would expect, but very roomy for being a small car that I didn't expect. And being it is so small, you have a very Good little footprint, tight turning circle. Backup camera does a great job. I like all the views too. Gives you a pretty good look at everything. And we can do that without barely touching the gravel. But driving the new Civic, definitely a nice little car. So turning around to my honest thoughts, my perspective, one little Easter egg in this car, on the underside of the tray in the center, it says the Civic history goes on. So kind of cool to see a little iconic Civic on the back of this. No one will ever look at and see that, but nice little Easter egg in this car. So I think some of the things that stand out to me, this is definitely basic transportation. It's nothing really special. If you want a special Civic, the Type R, that thing is super cool. Obviously it's a performance car, manual, bucket seats, all that good stuff. This is not that. This is transportation, point A to point B. But what I like is it's genuinely comfortable. I've been in the Nissan Sentra, we've had a couple of them to test out, and my knees are really bent, really cramped. I just feel like I'm not at all comfortable. This, for being a generic little car, these seats are really comfortable, and they actually have bolsters to where, you can go around a sharp turn and kind of feel planted in them. They cradle your leg, they have all sorts of adjustments up and down. So genuinely, this is a nice place to be, and for under 30 grand, it's pretty cheap to buy one of these, and you're getting something you can pleasantly fit into. Now you can hear some road noise. It does feel a little loud right now just from the wheels and tires. So certainly not a refined car, it's no luxury vehicle, but again, we gotta think of the pricing. This is under 30 grand, it's a cheap car to buy. So for what it is for the pricing, I feel like it's a pretty good value. The Civic has always been kind of an iconic car because of that. It is something that anybody can afford. It's very easy to find one. There's a million of these out there. It's a car anybody can get. And with that, it's gonna basically do what anybody's gonna need it to do. It's gonna get you from point A to point B. And the fact that these new Civics are actually comfortable and roomy for 5'11" people, and I'm sure taller than me, I mean, you would fit perfectly fine, even larger than me. So it feels like a car really made for anybody. And even coming from the cars that I'm interested in, I can drive this and be pretty comfortable in it, do a long trip. You're gonna get good gas mileage and just have basically a good road trip mileage car just to rack up some miles. It's very simple in here, of course, with this more of a basic trim level, nothing too fancy. So of course you can option it with more things if you would like. But not a bad way to go. There's not really much more to talk about. I mean, it's a simple car. Really, I'm gonna probably talk in circles in a little bit because there's really nothing else to talk about. But, the Civic represents a lot. It represents a simple, affordable, good car anybody can get, and I feel like for 2025, they are still offering that. And with Honda's wide spectrum of cars, I mean, you can get the one that's gonna fit your tastes. Only drawback, I would say, maybe a little on the noisy side for the road noise, and that's about it. A little sluggish too, but again, it is what it is. It's kind of what you would expect. But that is then it for the 2025 Honda Civic Sport. Sporty little car, really. Can't complain too much with it. For what you get for the money. If you guys enjoyed today's video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. Stay tuned for plenty more content. And then a big shout out to Flo Honda of Statesville for providing this Honda Civic for today's video. Take a look at their website linked below, and we'll see you all in the next video.